Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Please be seated. Spring has sprung here at OMS, and we're going around the school to see what everyone's favorite springtime activity.
What's your favorite springtime activity?
My favorite springtime activity is coaching baseball. I love coaching baseball. My son plays, so that's my favorite springtime activity.
My favorite springtime activity is gymnastics. My favorite springtime activity is gymnastics.
Favorite spring activity is track.
My favorite spring activity is gymnastics.
My favorite spring activity is playing lacrosse.
My favorite spring activity is hanging out with my friends.
My favorite springtime activity is playing soccer.
My favorite springtime activity is playing lacrosse.
Lacrosse! This is Ryan Azer with your favorite news segment, Interviews with Teachers, also known as Teacher Spotlight. This broadcast, I interviewed everyone's favorite 7-1 history teacher. She loves to travel, Miss Bragman. So, Miss Bragman, why did you decide to become a social studies teacher?
That's a great question, Ryan. So, I always knew I wanted to be a teacher since the time I was a little girl.
Oh, really?
Really, it's true. You could ask my mom one day if you meet her. I had an easel, and on one side there was a chalkboard, on the other side there was like a whiteboard, and I used to pretend to teach my stuffed animals when I was little. And I used to always think I wanted to be an ELA teacher. I loved reading, I loved literature, I loved writing. And then in college, my first year, I took history classes as part of required classes I had to take, and I loved them so much that I decided to switch to history. I always loved politics, current events, and then after taking history classes in college, that's what made me want to switch to social studies.
Well, history is a very interesting subject.
I'm glad you think so.
So, how is it teaching 7th graders?
I love teaching 7th graders. I started off as a high school teacher, and then I moved to the middle school, and they seemed very, very young to me at first when I moved to the middle school. But now I love it so much. I think it's so fun. It's such an awesome age to teach. 7th graders and 8th graders are still so eager. They want to participate, so it's a lot of fun.
I'm glad you enjoy it.
Thank you.
So, you're one of the supervisors for broadcasting. May I ask, whose idea was it? How did it come up? And what do you think of it today?
Great question. So, originally, I was the advisor of the newspaper club. And that was my first year here at the middle school. And then Dr. Glickman Rogers came to me at the end of my first year here, and she said, you know, we're thinking of doing a broadcasting club to replace the newspaper club, because the way the world is going, more people are getting their news digitally than in print, right? So a lot of newspapers are going out of business. So we figured we'll put our Oceanside newspaper out of business here, so to speak, and start up the broadcasting club. So really it was Dr. Glickman Rogers' idea. She approached us about it. She heard that other middle schools were doing this, and to kind of go hand in hand with our digital environment, the iPads, we decided to go this route. And I think it's been so awesome. It's been an excellent experience. You guys have really stepped up to the plate, so to speak. It's all student run. We have great equipment and green screen, or our little recording studio. So it's just getting better and better as time goes on.
Well, I think it's a good idea too.
Great.
Well, considering you are a social studies teacher, who's your favorite president?
Oh, that's a great question. So I always tell my students, they can vouch for me on 7-1 and my previous students, that I don't like to share my political views personally, because as a social studies teacher, I don't like to influence my students. I like them to form their own opinions. But I will say 2 of my favorite presidents have been Thomas Jefferson and Abraham Lincoln.
My favorite is Lincoln.
What? Knew I liked you.
So, final question.
Okay.
What do you prefer, spaghetti or pizza?
Oh man, that's a tough choice. I pretty much love all carbs, but I would have to go with pizza on that one.
And I go with spaghetti.
Oh man, we can't agree on everything, right?
No. This has been Ryan Azer interviewing Miss Bragman.
Thanks, Ryan.
Hello, and welcome to The Trouble with Today's Music. I'm your host, John Grossman. Today we'll be discussing Talk Listen by Zealand. I think this song is absolutely brilliant in a number of ways, but first of all, I think you guys should have a listen.
Did I ever have it to begin? It's not a rush if my wheels forever spin.
I think that song is a great song to relax to. It's very chill, it's very laid back. And if you recognize the voice, I did too, because it's by American Idol alum Angie Miller. She competed a couple seasons ago. I think that you should definitely listen to this song whenever you're stressed, or it's a great homework song in my opinion. That's all for today, and I'll see you next time on The Trouble with Today's Music.
Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend and a stellar day.